Hi, Sydney City Schools kindergarten students. Today is Earth Day, and I'm going to read to you the Berenstain Bears, Don't Pollute Anymore. The Berenstain Bears Don't Pollute Anymore. The author and illustrator are Stan and Jan Berenstain. And this is the cover, and then we have the title page, and the author again, Stan and Jan Berenstain. Well, looky here, said Papa Bear as he opened the evening news. Your friend Professor Actual Factual's got his picture in the paper. Oh, said Brother and Sister Bear, coming to see. There's a big story, too, said Papa. And a headline. My goodness, said Mama Bear. What's it about? Leading scientist claims bear country is in serious trouble, he said, reading the headline. What sort of trouble? Asked Sister. Papa, who was reading the story to himself, didn't answer. What sort of trouble? Said Mama, repeating Sister's question. Oh, you know how professors are, he said. Actual Factual's making a big fuss about pollution. Well, I know how Professor Actual Factual is, said Mama, and I think he's quite sensible. So do I, said Sister. Me too, said Brother. Oh, he's a great guy, all right, said Papa. He's dug up some terrific dinosaur bones, and he runs a great museum, but I happen to think he's gone a little overboard on this pollution thing. I'm as much against pollution as the next fellow, he continued. I just don't think a couple of candy wrappers and drinking cups along the side of the road is the end of the world. So pollution in this story means trash or yucky stuff that doesn't belong where they're putting it. And Papa's talking about drinking cups and wrappers. Besides, bear country is in great shape. Come on, I'll show you. He opened the door and led the family out into the front stoop. You see, bear country is not only in good shape, it's downright beautiful. The rolling hills, the forests, the lakes and streams, and just look at that sunset. It's beautiful, all right, agreed Brother, but our science book says that some of those colors are caused by chemicals in the air that shouldn't be there. Huh, said Papa. Say, aren't you two supposed to be doing homework? Sister, who had just about completed her homework, finished quickly, but Brother Bear was stuck. Teacher Bob had asked him to do a report on endangered species. Endangered means there's not very many animals left. So if an animal is endangered, it means there's not many left. The books he had taken out of the school library weren't very helpful. Of course, the kind of shape bear country was in wasn't as simple as Papa made it seem. How bear country looked depended on your point of view. It looked fine from the Bear family's front stoop. It looked even better if you had a bird's eye view while flying high above the earth. But if you had a squirrel's eye view and were finding fewer and fewer acorns because too many trees were being cut down, bear country didn't look so fine. If you had a duck's eye view, you might think the professor was right about pollution. And if you had a fish's eyes view, you might think things were downright awful. So the squirrels are running out of nuts because they're cutting down the trees in bear country. The duck is seeing pollution or litter all in the streams and trash people threw out. And the fish at the bottom of the lake are seeing those six-pack can holders and cups and different trash at the bottom of the lake. So a lot of pollution. The next day, Brother decided to visit the museum to ask Professor Actual Factual for help with his endangered species report. Sister Bear went with him. Professor Actual Factual was usually cheerful and friendly and bubbling over with ideas and projects when the cubs visited. But this time he looked worried and glum. Glum means sad. He cheered up a bit when he saw them, but when Brother told him the purpose of the visit, to get help on a report about endangered species, he said something very surprising. I'll tell you the endangered species to do your report on. Us. People are endangered? Seems strange. Let's see what he's talking about. We don't understand understand, they said. It's very simple, explained the professor. We bears need certain things to survive: clean air to breathe, pure water to drink, and good soil to grow food in. If we don't do something about pollution, we're all going to become an endangered species. They looked very surprised. Come, he said, you'll understand soon enough. He led them out to where the actual Factionmobile was parked. It was a special van with all kinds of scientific gear in it. Then the professor took brother and sister on a bear country tour they wouldn't soon forget. They went past Grizzly Gus's garage where they saw oil leaking into a stream, getting on a duck and killing some fish. They went past the old box factory where they saw ugly black smoke pouring into the air. They scuba dived into Great Bear Lake where they saw everything from soda cans to rusty old bed springs and worse. They saw a fish tangled in a plastic soda can holder. They cut it loose, but they couldn't rescue all the fish from all the plastic holders carelessly thrown away. So a lot of pollution, oil, the smoke, the litter and trash, and the animals are getting hurt because it's getting wrapped around them and they can't move. They drove through the forest and saw that a great many trees had been cut down and that not many new trees had been planted to replace them. You might speak to your dad about that, said the professor. He and his fellow woods bears could help with that problem. I think I see what you mean about becoming an endangered species, said brother when they got back to the museum. Yes, agreed sister, but what can we do about it? Did that evening news story do much good? Asked brother. Not much, said the professor. The idea that bear country is in serious trouble because of pollution seems to be hard to get across to people. To grown-ups maybe, said sister, but we understand, and all our cub friends will too, because we're the ones who will have to live on the messed up, polluted earth when we grow up. Professor, said brother, how does this sound? You come to our school and explain all about pollution to the cubs of bear country. Maybe we can do something about it. Actual Factual was impressed. I'll give Teacher Bob a call right away and arrange it, he said. And that's what happened. The cubs were all eyes and ears as Actual Factual told them about the trouble bear country was in. First, he taught them 3 important new words: ecology, conservation, and recycle. The way the professor explained it, ecology means how all the creatures, the plants, and the earth itself work together. Conservation means not wasting the valuable things of the earth like water, oil, wood, and metal. And recycle means finding ways to use some of these valuable things over and over. So we had ecology, which is the way things work together in nature. Conservation, which means saving. So you conserve water when you brush your teeth. You turn the water off while you're brushing them. Or you take a short shower instead of a really long shower. And recycling means that if you can use it again, like a pop can or newspapers, or a glass pickle jar, you can throw it in a recycling bin and they can turn that into new things for us so we don't have to cut down trees for new paper. The cubs learned quite a bit from Actual Factual, and they had some ideas of their own too. How about a recycling program, suggested one cub. Maybe for newspaper to start, added another, then if it works, for cans and bottles too. Tim Honeypot said he'd talk to his dad, Mayor Honeypot, about it. Brother Bear remembered Grizzly Gus's garage. You shouldn't be allowed to spill oil into streams and kill fish, he said. Babs Bruno, whose dad was the chief of police, said, I'll talk to my dad. If there isn't a law against it, there ought to be. Even Too Tall helped with an idea. My uncle owns the Super Duper Market. He could put in a bag return plan for reusing grocery bags. Excellent suggestion, said the professor. And if some folks don't want to cooperate, added Too Tall, me and the gang can lean on them a little. The bag return is fine, Too Tall, said Teacher Bob, but no leaning. Cousin Freddie had the best idea of all. Let's start a club to stop pollution and call it the Earth Savers Club. We'll make posters and bumper stickers and have cleanups and marches and parades. But there was still the problem of Papa and his fellow woods bears. That evening, brother and sister told Mama and Papa about the Earth Savers Club and all the plans for stopping pollution. Mama was very impressed. Papa was too. As I said before, I'm just as much against pollution as the next fellow." But when the cubs asked him to be sure that he and his fellow woods bears plant a new tree for every one they cut down, he got a little grumpy. "Huh," he grumbled. "It's hard enough to cut down trees without having to plant them as well. Besides, what's all the fuss about? They're just trees." "My dear," said Mama, "the cubs are right. The forest is a living thing and deserves respect." Papa was about to say poof, but he thought better of it. The problem of conserving the forest must have been on his mind because that night he had a dream. In the dream, he was walking toward the forest to cut wood when the trees began to sway and wave their branches. Then the branches turned into reaching, grasping arms. Then the trees climbed out of the earth on their roots and chased after him. "Help!" cried terrified Papa in his sleep. "The trees, they're after me!" He woke up in a cold sweat. "Having a nightmare?" asked Mama. It must have been something I ate," he said. "Or something you heard, perhaps," said Mama. "About trees?" he said, and he turned over to get back to sleep. But it wasn't going to be easy. The cubs didn't expect to solve all of Bear Country's pollution problems, but the Earth Saver clubs made a very good start. The mayor declared a special holiday called Earth Savers Day, and the cubs had a big parade. Brother and Sister Bear marched at the head with Professor Actual Factual. And there's Papa. He decided to be an Earth Saver. It says, "Help save the trees, be a super duper bag returner." There were many grown-ups in the parade too, including Papa Bear, who carried a sign and did not say, "Phew. Good woods bear plants a tree for every single one he cuts. No ifs, no ands, no maybes or buts." That was the end. In the story, they came up with some ways to help conserve or save the earth. And we're going to come up with a list. Let's come up with a list of ways that the kids of Bear Country were going to help the earth. Let's see. Let me move this back a little bit. And somebody wants you to think for a minute of one way that the kids came up with to help save the earth. Go to this page and will help us remind us of what the ideas were. Okay, good. They could recycle. That means to use something over and over again. So if you take cloth bags to the grocery, you are helping to, or if you take your plastic bags back to the grocery store and there's bins right inside the door, they can recycle them. If you are finished with your milk jug and you rinse it out, they can recycle. Paper, when you're done with it, you throw it in the recycling bin and they'll take it and turn it into something else. Something else they said that we could do. You remember they said you could plant trees. Plant trees helps the earth a lot. So Papa was going to plant trees because trees give us air and they give us shade and they give the animals a home. Something else that we can do that the kids talked about. Oh, we're going to clean up the litter. So if you see trash on the ground, make sure you put it in a trash can. Don't just throw your gum wrapper or your candy bar wrapper on the ground. Make sure it goes in the trash can, because if it ends up in a lake or a stream, it could hurt the animals. A squirrel might think that a wrapper is a piece of food and eat it and get sick. So we make sure we clean up and put our trash where it belongs. And we're going to conserve. That's right, conserve. That's a big word. So I might conserve or save gas, and instead of driving my car to the library, I might ride my bike instead, so I didn't have to use gas. Or I might conserve water, and I'm going to take a really short shower instead of a long hot shower, and that helps save water. I might conserve energy in my house, and I'm going to turn off all the lights when I leave a room instead of leaving all the lights on. Or if I'm done watching TV, I'm going to turn it off to conserve energy, and that helps save the earth. So there are lots of ways that kids can help. You can recycle, you can plant trees or a garden or plants. You could clean up trash you see down alongside the road or the sidewalk or in your yard. And you can conserve, which means to use less of something. I hope you enjoyed The Berenstain Bears Don't Pollute Anymore. And you have a happy Earth Day. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.